Hello, everybody. As usual, it's Wednesday, 9 p.m. here in Ireland, in the UK, and 10 p.m. in France. So, we are here with you one more week, and today's topic is the identity of spirits, charlatanism. And we will talk a little bit about this, let's say, controversial topic we have in the Spiritism. So, first of all, let's start with the ladies. Good evening, Silvia. How are you, my dear?
Good evening. I'm very well, thank goodness. And I hope everyone is well and everyone that is with us as well today. Hope that a lot of peace and light be together with us. And a special subject today, actually, is not often discussed, but is an important thing to learn and to see. So looking forward to this. And, welcome everyone who is sharing this moment with us. Boa tarde a todos, ou boa noite, onde quer que vocês estejam. Prazer estar com vocês uma vez mais. E um tema importante que nós vamos discutir hoje, normalmente não é muito falado, mas é importante para a gente saber. Então, que a paz de Deus seja sobre todos nós. Muito obrigada. Thank you.
Bonsoir, Charles.
Bonsoir Stevan, bonsoir à tous. Très heureux d'être à nouveau parmi vous ce soir pour parler de ce sujet un peu délicat sur la médiumnité vénale, le charlatanisme. Donc c'est un sujet qui demande à être mieux compris. Pourquoi la médiumnité ne peut pas devenir une profession. Donc on va essayer de vous expliquer tout ça. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Very happy to be here again with you today to talk about this subject of identity of spirit and charlatanism, which is quite important. There is a lot of abuses in this field since a very long time, as we will see. And it's really hindering, jeopardizing the perceptions that some people have about spiritism. And that's why we will explain you the different reasons why mediumship cannot become a profession.
Yeah. Okie dokie. So let's start with our video. Let me share my screen. Okay.
How are the psychics, or the mediums as we call on Spiritism, are they all trustable people? Can I trust them? What they tell, does it really come from spirits? And if so, does it come from good spirits, spirits well-intended? First, not all spirits are well-intended. Not all spirits are wise people. They are just like you and I, without a body. So a stupid person without a body is a stupid spirit. So everything that comes from spirits should always pass through your reason, pass through your mind. See what they're telling you. Does it make sense? Is it for your own good? Or is it something really kind of weird? Is it something that's not going to be good for you or for the other people around you? Wise spirits, they never advise a bad thing. They never advise a thing that does make sense. For example, if a spirit comes to you and say, every Monday you should use purple. Why is that? Doesn't make any sense. But if a spirit comes and tell you, you should be a good person, you should try to reconnect with your brother, you should try to become more calm, you should try to see a more broad way, you should see brothers and sisters in all kinds of religion, you should see brothers and sisters in all kinds of ethnical groups. Well, that's good advice. That probably comes from a wise spirit. Do not trust all the psychics. Do not trust all the mediums. And a good tip there is, if the person charges you, do not go. Run away from that. In Spiritism, we believe that something you receive for free, you should give for free. So if you're a psychic, if you're a medium, in Spiritism, you don't charge for helping the other person with your abilities. So all to say that perhaps in Spiritism, there is free lunch.
Okay, so um, Charles, I will need your help because I was doing my homework and I found a passage in the book Spiritism: The Face of Science from Delan, and it's saying here in the fifth part, chapter 3, Delan says, according to the codifier or Allan Kardec, absolute disinterest is the best guarantee against charlatanism. If he does not always ensure the excellence of intelligent communications, he nevertheless deprives bad spirits of a powerful means of action and closes the mouth of certain detractors. So, as we said since the beginning, today we explore this part of the Spiritism which is attacked as a problem. Is they trying to make this the biggest problems in the spiritism. But as Charlie said since the beginning, this is not new. And this goes to my first question to Charles is what it is charlatanism in spiritism. And does Kardec have faced this problem during his time when he was incarnated?
Yes, of course, he did face this problem. And not only Kardec, this problem is very old. When we look to Moses, for instance, he was forbidding the Hebrews to practice the mediumship. Why did he forbid? He forbid because the Hebrews who were in Egypt took this bad habit from the Egyptians to try to explore the credulity of some people, making money by making some false promises or lying, saying that they were mediums. So this is what Moses has forbidden, this Mosaic prohibition about mediumship. So you can see it's 3,500 years ago. It was already a problem, and probably also even older with the Egyptians. And of course, it was still a problem at the time of Kardec. Anything can be exploited, Kardec is saying. So the mediumship did not escape from that. And since there is a kind of a mystification around this mediumship, when a lot of people, they think, oh, this person is medium and get the advices from the spirit, so now I will know everything and no, they have a totally wrong vision of mediumship. And this mystification is, of course, being exploited financially by some people which are unhonest. And this is, of course, what you call charlatanism, making money out of something which has no consistency and which is not true. And of course, a lot of people not knowing what mediumship is, since official science and education and whatever does not want yet to enter in the spiritualist paradigm. A lot of people, they have no clue about mediumship is, so they can be very easily manipulated and cheated by some people who want to exploit them. Okay, so the best remedy against this is again education, explaining what mediumship is, why mediumship cannot become a profession. Mediumship, by definition, is involving disincarnated spirits, and so these spirits, they come if they want. First thing, if there is an affinity with us, and as Caldini said very well, the good spirits In the spiritual world, the credit card is not working. The money is not working. All the money are terrestrial stuff that we live here, the day we die, and we go back to the other side. So it's only temporary stuff and nothing definitive. And in the spiritual world, it does not work. So when we think about good spirits, they definitively will never, support anyone which is interested in making money out of mediumship. So they immediately go away. And then, of course, as Caldini told it very well in the video, you should not trust mediums who are paid. And on top of this, it gives a very bad image of the Spiritism towards people who do not know it, or people who have negative appreciation about Spiritism, like people coming from religions or people who are materialist and so on. If they see one or two people which are abusing of mediumship, they are very easy to generalize and to put these things on the head of all the spirits. All the spirits are charlatans, no? And which is, of course, far from being the truth. And these are the type of things that we have, as spiritists, have to suffer quite frequently. So again, Kardec said the best weapon, the best resistance, the best answer for this is, as Caldini so told it, the disinterestedness. Disinterestedness, personal disinterestedness, so not trying to put us in evidence or whatever, stay humble and discreet even. And the second is the financial, the material disinterestedness, which is even more important. And this is why, due to this problem of charlatanism since Kardec and until today, a lot of spiritist groups like ours, or even the Federation in France or whatever, we write in the bylaws, clearly written, that we reject any time, we will not accept any type of remuneration of mediumship. So we need to have this strong position to make the difference between the true spiritism, who is practiced with disinterestedness, and all this which is done for money, which of course has this big tendency and trend and danger of going to charlatanism. Because the guy who is coming and asking for money, making appointments every 20 minutes, somebody else or whatever, of course, if the spirit is not here, what happens? If he's honest, he will say, okay, sorry, the spirit is not here, I cannot tell you, so I don't charge you, come another time. But this is not what we see. Generally, they guarantee that the spirit is coming, which is already the first sign that they are not honest, because no one can guarantee that the spirit will come at a given point in time. The spirits are coming only if and when they want, and not when we want. Okay, and starting from this, of course, all the people who are giving guarantees and really are not trustable, because we know as spiritists that it is not possible and it does not work like that. And then I have how to say, if we take some think a little bit more about this problem of paid mediumship. It is we are today in the material world, a lot of people having blinds and seeing only the material thing and totally ignorant of the spiritual things. Okay. And then something is coming, a spiritualist movement, a spiritist body of knowledge, and so on, trying to push us, to elevate us to more to these spiritual subjects and matters. And what is the lack of disinterestedness doing is we are trying to elevate our thoughts and our conceptions to higher things, and by charging or by lack of disinterestedness, we just catch us and push us back down to the matter, because again, the money is purely material and does not have any value in the spiritual world. And all what we will have gained by charging for medium for charlatanism will stay here the day we die. And the day we die, we will go with our conscience. And that is then the problem we will have, because we will have the bad conscience of all these persons that we know that we have cheated, that we know we have given wrong messages, that we know we have badly influenced, and so on. And all this we will have then to expiate and to repair and to make something to how to say, to redo what we have done wrong and to repair what we have broken. It's as simple as that. So let us, when we elevate our thoughts to spiritualism, the fact of that bounding into it something which is material is really not the best way to proceed. And this existed, Moses, it existed during Jesus with the Pharisees. It existed during Kardec. It is still existing today. So we probably will have to live with this still sometimes, until the people understand clearly what we are trying to explain today, and know that the true and most, how to say, trustable mediumship must be through disinterestedness. And even this is not a guarantee. So there are more things needed. The person needs to be, as Caldini said, if you want to attract good spirits, you have to be a good person and have good thoughts and so on, and willing all permanently the good to the other people. Otherwise, if you attract bad spirits, you can pass really wrong messages to the persons, and we as a medium will be held responsible for what you have done in this way. So that's just for a short introduction.
Yeah, thank you, Charles. Well, I like when Claudine said that there is no free lunch for anybody.
Yeah.
No, because the medium needed to exercise their moral qualities, their moral abilities in order to attract good spirits. The spirits need to do their part as well. So everybody works. This is good. Okay, Ms. Gibbons. In the video we saw when parting, Claudine said we give free what we have received free. So why we needed to be very cautious when talking about money and mediumship?
Well, I will go to what the gospel says and what the medium's book says. And what the gospel says. Why shouldn't we have charge for things? Before I started, when Charles was speaking, I was reminded of that movie Ghost. I don't know if you've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this very famous part. He's trying to communicate with his wife or girlfriend, and he finds out this woman is a medium. So he goes to her, and the whole place is empty. There is no spirits there at all. Because, I mean, she's such a liar that even the bad spirits don't go to her. And then, you know, she's inventing something to the lady, because, of course, she uses her mediumship, and she was a very, very good medium. I mean, you know, she was a clairvoyant medium. She could hear. She had many abilities in her mediumship. But because she was such a fraud, used it in such a fraudulent way that even the bad spirits are around. And then, of course, you know, when he says, what a rather rubbish that she's inventing to this man. And she heard him. And then, you know, you see what happened. And that's very interesting, because if you are paying for something, you have to say something, you have to invent. And I think I remember that part in the film, because afterwards, you know, when she really heard him and she could, then the place was full of people, because all the spirits came to her, you know, because she actually she had seen them, so everybody came. And it's interesting because this is in the movies, and there is another film as well that was made. I can't quite remember the name now, but this man goes to have an operation, a very simple thing, but something happened during the operation, and he had, you know, a sort of experience, near-death experience. So when he comes out, you know, he's okay, he leaves hospital, he's waiting for the car or something, and there is a nurse outside, you know, sitting there with smoking or something, and he says to her, "Oh, that's not very nice day, is it?" And then she comes and says, "Can you see me? Can you see?" I don't know if you've seen this movie. It's I'll try to find and I'll put the name afterwards. But it's very, very interesting, this, because it's very typical for what we're saying. And then she said, "Can you see me?" Because when he had this near-death experience, he started to see spirits. He became clairvoyant. And then, of course, you know, and that he was a person, very bad mood all the time. He could never see anybody's point of view. He was a quite selfish kind of person. And it was interesting that throughout the story, then all the spirits, they started following him because so he can see me. He can. So all the spirits are around, come start following him. And eventually he started to help these people. But the spirit, and I think it's very important for us to know, because mediumship, you know, the medium's book, there is a whole chapter on that, and which, you know, would be nice if people could read it. It's chapter 28 is Charlatanism, what paid mediums. Because if you are getting paid for something, you have to, you know, fulfill things, invent things if there is no spirit there. And this is very important, because in the Gospel of St. Matthew, chapter 10, he says, you know, in replying to the questions you may, why must we not charge for mediumship? He says, Jesus says, if I will read the text because it's very, very short. "Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely you have received, freely give." So Jesus was saying, heal the sick, help the ones who are ill, do this, and what you have received freely, you give freely. And because mediumship is a gift that's given to us. But I think it's very important, especially here in England, in some other places as well, I'm sure. People see mediumship as a gift, but as something that makes them special, better than anyone else.
Mhm.
But mediumship is actually a gift, not to make us special, but because we have more to give, because we were lacking in other lives. We done things that were not so good, and as a kind of help to us to make us into someone that can help much more, this gift of mediumship is given. And also, I think one of the things that needs to be understood, you know, in question 159 of the Medium's book, he says, every single person is a medium in different levels. Some are more ostensive than others, but we are all mediums. So this gift is not something that's different, because everyone has it. We're not more important than anybody else in giving this gift. And this gift, as I say, is the important thing to understand, is something that is given to us to help us to do more, because we owe more. So I think it's very important. I think Charles made a point as well, because when one of the things is that not only that we are just a medium, we are the go-between the spiritual world and the material world. So if we want to, like Charles pointed out, the spirits, they come if they want to. If they don't want to come and give a message, they don't. They are not at our beck and call. especially if there are spirits of a certain level, that they're busy, they work really hard in the spiritual world, and they cannot come anytime they want. And even spirits that maybe are not so, but they, mostly they come for whatever reason, to be joking, make confusion. But they also, if they don't feel like coming, they won't. So it's not up to the medium to evoke a spirit and he will answer when he's called, but for the spirit if he wants to. So this is already something that is not in the control of the medium when the spirit comes. And that's why, we cannot charge, because it's something, in a way, it's like we would be being charged for of doing somebody else did the work, and we get paid for it. I think that there is a point here in the medium, in the spirit, in the medium's book, that the spirits explain in Kardec, that it depends very much on the character and on the kind of person that the medium is. Some mediums may be dedicating themselves completely, and they are sincere in their work, and they are getting paid. But it's a question of character and morality. So you can't judge, because I think Charles made this point as well, that Spiritism is very much judged in the question of the mediums. When people say, oh, yes, this is a fraud because you can do this, and this kind of, in a way, this fraud, trying to get money from people, or turning the mediumship into a profession, is a very dangerous thing, because it's easy for the medium to get lost, not having because also not every spirit can communicate to a certain medium. It's all question of vibration between one and the other. Sometimes the spirit will come, but because they don't vibrate in the same level as the medium, they cannot give a message. So they may ask somebody else to come and give the message. So the message already be with two people, and sometimes the medium cannot. So what happens? If you are doing for money, you're going to have to say something. And so I think, in conclusion for everything, the best thing really is not to do this for money, for payment, because mediumship is not a profession. I know that a lot of people say, yeah, but I give healing, but I don't have a job because I'm giving healing all day. I'm working in the mediumship all day. I'm giving message to people all day. So I have to get paid somehow. And I think with the best of intentions, always, whenever you make a spiritual thing into a commercial things, into something that you earn money, there is always a danger there of the person being consumed by the money. But also, it's not only financial, but a lot of people may use this as well to become well-known, to become famous, to become a celebrity. And I don't know how it is in other places, but here in England, we have things that come from America that, celebrity mediums, you have
Oh my God.
Hollywood
United as
mediums,
well.
Long Island or whatever. And, they can be good mediums, and sometimes they're fantastic mediums, but there's always the danger there. And I think, sort of going as well what Jesus said, I think when he expelled the vendors from the temple, because he says, you have made my father's house into commerce, and my father's house a house of prayer. He was very vehement, and he was very strong in what he said, because it's so easy they had made all the money changes and everything, was because the money that was used outside, which was Roman money, would not be accepted in the temple. So they had to change the money, the Roman money, to the temple money, So this, created a lot of profit for a lot of people. And Jesus said, no, you get out of this is a house of prayer. And I think, basically, if when you're dealing with this and dealing with money, it's a dangerous thing for the healer. So the best, even with the best of intentions, even if the medium is dedicated and is doing that for completely unselfish way, but getting paid for that is dangerous for the medium. And what they, that's why in Spiritism we say, no, you have your job that you get paid in your day-to-day life, and your free time you dedicate to mediumship, to healing. And I think this is one of the things that are good. I mean, I'm not saying that, I think, like Charles said, is not going to find that every now and then someone will charge and take money and give themselves their names and become famous because they are famous mediums, but not everyone like this. And if we proceed to the fact that you give for free what you receive for free, you have less danger in that. And like the medium's book says, to sum up, we repeat that the best guarantee of the genuineness of the manifestation is furnished by the character and position of the medium, and the absence of all motives of worldly interest or vanity in the exercise of this faculty, because the same stimulus of unworthy motives, which would prompt a medium to make an interest use of the faculty really possessed by him, might also prompt him to simulate that faculty if he did not really possess it. I think that, is a sum up that sums up. We give for free what we receive for free. We do a financial, the work for our life to pay our rent. It's separate from the work we do. That's a free work. And I think that's what I have to say.
And
Thank
Silvia, we can maybe complement. There are examples of this. Take
yes.
Chic Xavier, take Divaldo Pereira Franco, take a lot of them. They were
Yes.
working their whole life, and
Yeah.
this does not prevent them to write 400 books each one,
Exactly.
only in the free time. And
I mean, she
this
wrote
is
over 800 books.
voilà.
Over 540 has already been printed, but I think they have found now, because a lot of people had kept it, there's quite a lot more. And he always worked, didn't he? He always worked.
Exactly. So this is why they are so well known, so recognized today, because the people recognize their disinterestedness. On the other side, in France,
Yes.
we French Spiritist Federation and Belgian Federation, we go to these, how to say, wellness fairs and places like this where you have a lot of people paying for photographies or whatever type of service, and even mediumship or when you look to it, it's really incredible all what the people are inventing and all what the people are ready to pay for. It's unbelievable.
Yes.
So when we are there, we give exactly the opposite message. We tell, no, we give for free. Look, the books is only €5 or €7, and if you buy one, we even give you another one for free, whatever. And then the people, sometimes they come to us and they say, look, we are really admiring your disinterestedness, because all what we are seeing here is exactly the opposite, and we are not, how to say, so the word is escaping now.
So gullible.
Voilà,
So
they are
gullible.
aware. They are aware of all this exploration and that this is not a good thing. So
Yeah.
we continue going there, paying for going there, because it does not bring any money. It just brings, how to say,
Yes.
some benefits in the dissemination,
Yeah.
and that's it. But with all the respect, we do not condemn anyone and so
No.
on. And we learned by discussing with those people that, in fact, what you can see, a lot of them, for a lot of them, it's quite difficult. They don't earn so much money as a lot of people think. Some few ones are earning a lot, but the majority of them are quite a tough time. So
Yes.
we try to explain them, but the problem is when the people entered in this type of activity, it's very difficult to come out and to find another activity as per your education, for instance, your diplomas, and stop by doing paid mediumship. So it's you manage maybe 1 out of 10, but not more. For the other ones, they will unfortunately continue in that way.
Yeah, because I think that's one of the things that the mediums book says, do we study, learn? Because once you learn how the process of mediumship happens, how it is much easier for the person not to be taken in by anyone. And the best thing really is not to use money. But I understand what you said, because some people, they don't have the knowledge, they don't understand, and they are mediums all day long, and they are healers all day long, and they think this is, even though they are sincere and they are good people and they really doing this stuff for love, but they still see it as a means to support themselves. It's very difficult sometimes, I mean, especially when you have healing seminars and everything, to explain that all of us, we have a different jobs. We get paid from, some people have big, high power jobs, university professors, but other people work as cleaners. They earn their lives cleaning houses, whatever it is, working in restaurants. And that's the time we work. And the time of the mediumship is free, is a time that we give. And I think it's so much better to be able to give, not to earn anything. Because I think, thinking about Chico Xavier, he used to get a lot of money. People would give him jewelry, give him farms and all sorts of things. And he would immediately go and transfer it to the hospitals, to the people who came to get food. He asked a lot of people, start to this hospital, start doing this, and the money that people would give to him would go straight away to all the charity work that he did. And I think it's the same thing with Divaldo Franco. And even, like recently here, Florence Anton was here in England, and he has one of the most incredible types of mediumship. He's a painter. And in 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, he does the most incredible paintings from very famous painters, and they are beautiful and everything. And all the money goes to the charity organization that he has started, education for children, families, medicine, doctors, and, all sorts of things that they help children that was in the street, or elderly people. So I think this is the best way, really. And they, whether we are cleaning houses, whether we are teaching at universities, or we are great engineers, wherever, at the end of the day, this giving freely is the best recompense we have.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes. And we have a question here from Ricardo.
I'm sorry, Stevan. Can you ask Ricardo if he could put what predictions is he talking about? Because he says Xavier prediction. What prediction is that? I think it would be good if he would actually tell us which predictions he's thinking of.
Okay. So Ricardo, please.
That's another thing. Huh? The people who go to the mediums, when you question them, they come and say, "No, I want you to tell me what I shall do and what I shall not do." So they are
What happened to me?
somehow delegating their free will to somebody else. And this somebody else, if he enters in this game, influencing heavily the free will of the person and being co-responsible for maybe good things if they happen, or also for bad things. So it is really something.
Well,
And a lot of people, they come also asking for predictions. So the question of Ricardo is very interesting in this way, because a lot of people, they want to know about the future. Will I marry? Will I marry with this one or with that one? Will I separate with my wife or my husband? They want to know a lot of things like this,
Yeah. Is
which
there going
are
to be a world
purely
war?
exactly.
Is the earth going to end? All
Yeah,
sorts of stuff.
exactly.
Yeah.
And all this, how to say, Kardec was also very clear. What the previsions of the future can happen in some exceptional circumstances, but most of the time they are not true. They do not realize. Even sometimes they come from good mediums like Chico Xavier. And even
well,
Kardec, I want to say Kardec, he made some predictions. He told, for instance, optimistic predictions like 1 or 2 generations more of when the young people are educated Spiritists, the whole society will get Spiritists, These 2 generations are gone since a long time. Then you see that Spiritism, we are only a few percent still, at least here in France or in UK. We are a minority. So his prediction is true, but the time frame he gave for the prediction was far too optimistic. And there are cases also with Léon Denis and so on. But on another hand, they themselves, they are saying that predictions with given dates are generally false, and they are very exceptionally true.
yeah. So he put it here, Silvia.
Yeah, I saw that a prediction
50
of the
years,
50
yeah.
years. I think this has been fulfilled. It wasn't a prediction. This is going to happen, and I think that's one of the things, because people take stuff so much out of context that before you know it, the things became something that Chico or Divaldo or even Kardec or anybody never said. It's just that people started interpreting. I think what Chico Xavier said was that it was given because the situation that the world was at the beginning of the 60s, there was a very, very serious danger of a world war again, which would be the destruction of the planet. And the spirits gave, because of Jesus asked for help, and it was given to humanity a period of time in which, if they were able to be at peace and talk, have discussions, and not go into a terrible war, that things would be better. There would be, it would be a better way of doing things. And we didn't, thank goodness. Negotiations were done. I mean, everybody who knows about the Bay of Pigs, was very, very, we were very close to a terrible thing. And thank goodness, Kennedy was able to talk to the people in Russia and everybody else, and we didn't have a world conflict like we had before. So in many ways, it was, it has gone, it has passed. And also, I mean, they talk about the Mayan prediction of the, 26,000 years, and was more or less the same time, and that was said. And we didn't have, a world conflict, thank God. There has been many wars because we are very bellic by our own nature, human beings. But at least, it hasn't been anything that conflict. Now, should we be afraid? I think we should have faith. I think we should pray for God to help us, to guide us, to not only to, we pray for the government, to those who are in power, but also to try to create around where we live, around our family, our friends, a peaceful thing. And fear is not good. Fear is a negative feeling, and it can create all sorts of things. So if we change this, instead of fear with things, for faith that God is with us, that God loves us, that we are children, that we inherited the world, and try to make peace with ourselves, with the people around us, create the best world we can within the reach that we have, and pray for those who are in power, those in government, that they also make decisions for peace. I think I would change. Do not be afraid. Be faithful. That's how I would see it. I think maybe Charles like to say
Yes, and
something.
I mean, typically, you see, around 2010 or so, there were some movies with data limit date turning around, showing a lot of how to say UFOs, UFOs,
UFO,
unidentified
yes.
Yeah, it is, it is
They've
flying.
been here.
disco voador in English. How is it?
Flying saucers.
Voilà, a lot of things like this in the street and so on.
UFOs everywhere, yeah.
And clearly talking about 2019, this famous 50 years after the man made the first step on the moon. So that date, 50 years after, it was, I don't remember, in July 2019 or so, nothing happened. So
Yes.
again, prediction was wrong. And
Yes,
now
but
if you take the essence of this prediction, 50 years without any nuclear conflict. Okay, there were no nuclear conflict during these 50 years, but are we today safe against this? Not later than yesterday, you had the Russian president who said, we suspend our participation to the START Nuclear Weapon Limitation Act. So the danger is not over. It still can happen for mistake, or even, this automatic stuff who may launch some things accidentally or whatever. There is so many scenarios or possibilities still that this will happen, that I really, these 50 years, as Ricardo is also saying, it's not 50 years. It can be 5 centuries. It can be 500
I
years.
think the 50 years he's talking about was from the early 60s, was from the time
from
of the Bay of
69.
Pigs, 62.
No,
Was 62, and
okay.
then that situation went up, and it has passed. The 50 year has gone by, because since the 60s, and there was also the thing of the prediction of the Mayans, that the world would come to an end into 2012, and there were people that were terrified. I mean, I myself knew people were afraid the world was going to end. And the same thing has passed. The 50 years have gone. We didn't have a war, thank God, but there is always conflict, and that's why we have to pray, because even if the worst comes to the worst, we have to realize that we're not gonna die. We are eternal spirits. We will live in another planet. We will live in another place. Life will not end. But this is not going to happen. It's not like the world is going to end. Certain things will change, and things are changing now very, very quickly. I think we're coming towards this, the end. We are in this last process of our world being a word of atonement to a word of regeneration, and we see a lot of conflicts. Of course, there is always the danger. That's why I think changing the word fear for faith, and having faith that God is there watching us, that Jesus came to show us the best way, and to make the best we can, and pray for, people like those presidents who because honestly, if there is a world war, there is no winners. There will never be a winner.
No.
So,
But
and there is nothing more powerful than the earth anyway. I mean, if you're seeing what's happening in Turkey, I don't know if you saw it in the news, that this place, they used to have a farm of olive trees. Did you see it?
Yes.
Now there is a chasm of, bigger than a football field, and it's like 30 meters down. Part of the trees in one side and part of the trees in the other is literally the other side. That is, like 30 meters down. It's a chasm. It's a new valley that's being created. So, nature will do the things for us, I think.
Well, hope so. But anyway,
Okay,
this is
so
one of the inconveniences of mediumship. When we start to exercise the mediumship, we need to exercise our moral abilities as well. And without doing this, I don't see a great medium being formed. So this is important to, this is my takeaway from today's conversation here.
yeah, because I think what you're saying is very true as well. Because a great medium is not one who have many abilities, but one who fulfill the few abilities that he has to the best of his possibility that he's given. He's generous, he's loving, and he works for love. That's the great medium who makes a great medium.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And I mean, another aspect we did not talk so much about it is identity of spirits.
Oh,
And
yes.
it's another very interesting point, which we could also talk during a full hour, because the spirits, they don't come with ID cards or fingerprints. They generally we cannot see them. So if you get, for instance, a communication with a signature behind, you can never be sure that this signature is really authentic. So that's another problem. So that's why Kardec is also having a full section about identity of spirits in the Medium's book, explaining that the identity of the spirit is maybe not so important. What is important is the content of the communication we get. If it is good communication, giving very good advices as per our analysis, then if it's signed X, Y, or Z, it doesn't matter. We don't care. The identity is secondary. And that's also something which creates difficulties. For instance, when you have some persons which are mooring, of course, a lot of mediums, even in the spiritist groups, even working for free, have a lot of goodwill in order to try to bring some help and consolation to this mother who lost a son or things like that. That sometimes they, even with the good willing, are overdoing it and may give some communications which are not from the loved one, but some substitute, and that is then also not correct. And so any care on this point of view of identity of spirit is not superfluous. We really have to be extremely careful in this way, being always very honest and transparent, never guaranteeing anything. This is the attitude of the good spiritist medium.
Okay. Okay, shall we go to the announcements?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Ricardo, for your questions.
So next week, 1st of March, 9 p.m., we will talk about Revoir Spirit, Allan Kardec's laboratory. So, Charles, we have a lot to talk here. So, this is your object of study. Also, let me see. Oops. Okay, the study of self-discovery based on spiritist psychology. It's a group is already taking meetings. Here, the schedule on your screen. If you have any interest, please contact our friend Fabrício Assunção, and he can give you more details about this study group. On the 18th of March.
It's already gone. That was Saturday.
18th of March.
18th of, oh, okay, sorry. I thought it was something else. Sorry, forgive me.
No, this is on 18th of March, the Children Youth Education Summit gathering. The topic is Challenges and Opportunities in Youth and Children Spiritist Education. I still do not have an update if it is going to be presential or online, but as soon as I have any more details, I will announce here. Every Saturday, 10:30 a.m. UK time, we have the Mediums book study with Charles, Munir Gariba, and Guilherme Dias. And every other Tuesday, we have Ebony Paris with the study of the book Astral City, and the conversations on mediumship with Rafael Caldas and Faye Waddington. And this is it for us today, my friends. I would like to say, you want to say something, Charles?
Even for the people who are French-speaking, there is also the yearly gathering of the French-speaking Spiritists in Castel of Végimont, and it will be 12th, 13th, and 14th of May near Liège in Belgium. For the people who are interested.
Yes.
So to register, you go to the website of Mouvement Spirit Francophone. It's lmsf.org.
Okie dokie. So, thank you, my friends. Thank you, Ricardo, for your questions. I'll see you next Wednesday, 1st of March. Thank you.
All the best.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. God bless.